The Adventures of Michael McKoy Jr. and Carl. The Quest for Thumbs. A McKoy Vision production. One chilly October evening, Michael McKoy Jr. was practicing his karate moves in his backyard when Carl swooped down, looking more mysterious than usual. He wasn't in his typical PR getup. Instead, he wore a tiny trench coat and a fedora. "Kid, I need your help," Carl whispered in a low, dramatic voice, glancing around as if someone might be listening. Michael raised an eyebrow. "What's with the hat? And why are you whispering?" "This is serious business," Carl replied, adjusting his fedora. "I've decided it's time for me to level up." "Level up?" Michael repeated, confused. "You're already the best pigeon PR manager in the world. What more do you want?" Carl took a deep breath. "I need a human body, Michael. Imagine the possibilities. Fingers, thumbs, pockets. Do you know what I could do with thumbs?" Michael wasn't sure what was weirder, the fact that Carl wanted a human body or the fact that Carl thought this was even possible. But Carl's determination was infectious, so with a sigh, Michael agreed to help. "Fine. How do we even start with something like this?" Carl's eyes gleamed. "Meet me at midnight. And bring a flashlight. We're going to a very special place." Later that night, Michael snuck out with a flashlight and met Carl at the edge of the forest. Carl led him to an old, crumbling building that looked like it hadn't seen visitors in decades. The sign read, "Professor Grimwald's Laboratory of Questionable Experiments." Inside, the lab was filled with dusty glass jars, strange bubbling beakers, and gadgets that looked like they were from an old sci-fi movie. At the center of the room was a strange, human-sized mannequin lying on a rusty operating table. It was, to put it mildly, creepy. "Here's the plan," Carl whispered, pecking at the mannequin's arm. "We attach my head to this body and boom, I'm practically human." Michael gulped. Carl, are you sure this is a good idea? I mean, you're a pigeon. Details, kid. Details?" Carl squawked, already pulling out what looked like a tiny bird-sized welding torch. "Just think of it, I'll be able to shake hands, open doors, drive a car, tweet with my own thumbs. I'll be unstoppable." "Carl, you don't even have thumbs. Where did you even get a welding torch?" Michael asked, realizing this was getting stranger by the second. "Sure," Carl hissed. "Just hand me the head screwdriver." As Michael handed over the tool, the lights in the lab began flickering. Shadows danced around them, and eerie sounds echoed through the empty space. Then, in a low, eerie tone, a voice spoke. "Who dares disturb Professor Grimwald's laboratory?" Michael jumped, dropping the screwdriver. Did that mannequin just talk?" Carl waved it off. "Ignore it, kid. This is just part of the ambience. Besides, this is clearly an automated security feature." But the mannequin's eyes began glowing an ominous red, and it sat up on the operating table with a jerky, mechanical movement. "You seek to take what was never meant for pigeons," the mannequin declared in a monotone voice. "No pigeon shall possess the powers of thumbs and pockets." Carl didn't back down. "Look, Tinkin, you think you're intimidating? I do high-stakes social media all day long. Now scooch over." Ignoring the mannequin's continued protests, Carl jumped onto the operating table, flapping his wings furiously. Michael, unsure what to do, just held the flashlight steady as Carl attempted to attach himself to the mannequin's neck. But as soon as Carl pecked at the mannequin's neck bolts, the mannequin jolted to life, its arms flailing wildly. It stumbled off the table, accidentally knocking over a beaker that released a cloud of green smoke. The room filled with the foul smell of burnt popcorn and rotten eggs. "Abort mission. This mannequin's defective," Carl yelled, trying to flutter away. But it was too late. The mannequin reached out, grabbed Carl by the wing and then spun in a circle as if performing some sort of bizarre robot dance. It began chanting, "No pigeons. No thumbs. No pigeons. No thumbs." In a panic, Michael grabbed Carl and dashed for the exit. They ran through the lab, dodging piles of dusty lab equipment and narrowly escaping falling shelves. Just as they reached the door, the mannequin let out one last, mechanical wail. "No thumbs, for pigeons." As Michael and Carl burst out of the lab and ran back into the night, Michael could still hear the mannequin's creepy chant echoing through the trees. Finally, they made it home, where they slumped down on the porch, catching their breath. I think that's the last time we try getting you a body, Carl," Michael panted. Carl just nodded, his eyes wide. "Agreed. I think I'll stick to bow ties and smartphones. No thumbs needed." With that, Michael went back to bed, feeling relieved the strange adventure was over. The next morning he awoke, convinced the entire thing had been nothing more than a bizarre, spooky dream. But as he got out of bed, he noticed something on his nightstand: a tiny welding torch, a feather, and a note that read, "Thumbs or not, Carl's the best."